Hello, this is Zach Dorr with Worsham College. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit about algebra. Specifically, I'm going to teach you 3 different applications of algebraic equations using my living room, and I'm going to attempt to directly affiliate all 3 equations with the funeral service industry. I hope you enjoy. All right, so what is algebra? Algebra is the part of math that uses letters to represent numbers or unknown variables in equations or formulas. In any algebraic equation, you need to know what the variables that you do know and the variables that you don't know so you can form your equation. So in our first sort of story problem, we are considering purchasing another funeral coach for the funeral home, but we need to know what the length is to see if it'll fit in the garage or not. So the limo is 6 feet less than twice the length of the funeral coach. And as we can see, the limo that we currently own is 30 feet long. What is the length of the funeral coach? So to write out our algebraic equation, we need to write down or establish all of our variables. So the unknown variable is the length of the coach. So we will call that x. So x equals the length of the coach. And then we do know the length of the limo. 30 feet equals the length of the limo. So in order to solve the algebraic equation, we must first write the algebraic equation. So to write the algebraic equation, we need to know the variables, the known variables and the unknown variables. So we're solving for the length of the coach. So we're going to call that x. So x equals length of the coach. We also know that the limo is 30 feet long. And we know that the limo is 6 feet less than twice the length of the funeral coach. So how would we write that? So we know that x is the length of the funeral coach. The limo is 6 feet less than twice the length of the funeral coach. So we would have 2x, for twice the length of the funeral coach, minus 6. Because we know that it's 6 feet less than twice the length. And then it was going to equal 30 feet, which is the length of the limo. So our first step in solving this equation is we need to get both constants together because we're trying to solve for the variable x here. So we need the 6, or negative 6 in this case, to be over here. So if we have negative 6 here, the way to bring it over to this side is to add 6. Add 6, because you're canceling that out and you're adding 6 to this side. So that gives us 2x equals 36. So now we have 2x, that's 2 times x. So to cancel that out, you need to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. So you're going to divide by 2 on each side. That's going to give us x equals 36 divided by 2 is 18. So x equals 18. So the length of our funeral coach is 18 feet, which happens to be the size of the garage space. so we can go ahead and purchase our new funeral coach. All right, so for this example, we're going to be using caskets. So I drew a couple of, I got one little 3D casket and a church truck up here, and this is supposed to be a casket from the top view. So our little story problem, a casket has a perimeter of 224 inches and a length that is 56 inches more than its width. Okay, so we don't know the width, and we know the length is 56 inches more than the width. Perimeter is the distance all the way around the outside edge of the casket. So it's going to be the length times 2. Right, so you take this length from here to here, add it to the length from here to here, and add it to the width times 2. So the width from here to here, here to here. So you have length times 2, width times 2. So there actually is a algebraic equation for perimeter, and that is P. So P for perimeter equals 2L plus 2W. So 2 times L plus 2 times W. So 2 widths, 2 lengths equals perimeter. So find the length and the width of the casket, which is something that you will need more than once, I'm sure, owning a funeral home. So let's build our equation. So P is something that we do know. So the perimeter is 224 equals 2L. So all we know is for our length is W plus 56, right? So we're going to write that out as 2. And then the length is W plus 56, and we're going to put that in brackets because the whole thing, W plus 56, is going to be multiplied by 2, right? Top and bottom. Top and bottom. And then we're going to do plus 2W. So we have length times 2, width times 2. Length times 2, width times 2 equals the perimeter. P equals 2L plus 2W. P equals 2L plus 2W. So now we're going to solve the equation. So we're solving for W, right? So what's our first step? So as we learned in the order of operations, the PEMDAS, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that parentheses come first, right? So let's take care of that part first. So we're going to use distribution. So we're going to take this 2 and we're going to distribute it to each part of it because we're multiplying that 2 by the W and multiplying that 2 by the 56. So let's do 2 times the W is going to give us 2W plus 56 times 2, which is 112. Plus 2W equals 224. All right, so now we can combine the like terms. So we have 2W and 2W here, so we can make that 4W. 4W plus 112 equals 224. Like we learned in the last example, you want to bring this 112 over here. Like I said, you're combining like terms. What's the opposite? To cancel this out on this side and bring it over to this side, you're going to subtract 112. Same on this side, subtract 112. So that's going to give us 112. 224 minus 112 equals 112. Equals 4W is what we're left with. So now this 4W equals 112. We divide that by 4 as we learned in the last one as well. The opposite of multiplication is division to cancel it out. Divided by 4. So 112 divided by 4 is 28 equals W. So the width is going to be 28. So now the length, so the width is going to be 28. So the length is going to be 28 plus 56. 28 plus 56 would be the length, right? So we have 56 plus 28 equals 84. So 84 is the length. We wanted to find length and width, right? So here is our answers, 28 and 84. Just to make sure, we're going to take this equation and we're going to plug these in and just make sure that they are correct. So as we know, so P equals 2L plus 2W. So P is the perimeter, is 224. 224 equals 2L, so 84 times 2 plus 2W, so 28 times 2. So 84 times 2 is 168. 28 times 2 is 56. Equals 224. 220. The equation played out, P equals 2L plus 2W. We learned the length and the width of our casket. 28 and 84. And we double checked it with our equation here. All right, so for this third and final application of a algebraic equation, I'm recruiting the help of my son Tristan back there, and he's going to help with some visuals that I have for this last equation. All right, so for this example, I'm going to be using the formula for dilution, C times V equals C prime times V prime, which is also an algebraic equation. I'm going to be relating it to embalming, so this is where I need Tristan's help. So I've got the arterial fluid there with the 32 on the side of it, and then I've got my little juice jar here, which is supposed to be representing my embalming machine. All right, so C times V equals C prime times V prime. So C is the index as is written on the bottle. So on my bottle I've got 32 index. V is the volume of the arterial fluid. So how much fluid are we going to be putting in our tank for the total solution? And then C prime is the solution strength, which we're trying to get at 2%. And then the total volume is V prime is 128, which is 1 gallon here. So to build our equation, we have 32, which is the index, C, 32 times V, the volume, which is what we're trying to figure out. So that's going to be our X, our variable, 32X equals 2 times 128. So that's the strength, solution strength C prime times V prime, 2 times 128, total volume times desired strength. So to know exactly how much arterial fluid to put in the tank here, we need to solve our equation. So we're going to start with 2 times 128. So 2 times 128 is 256. So 256 equals 32x. So now, as we learned before with algebraic equations, the opposite of multiplication is division. So to bring the 32 to make the, or to cancel out the 32 over here and bring the 32 over here, we need to divide by 32. Divide by 32 on each side. Get that out of there. So that gives us x equals 256 divided by 32 is 8. So 8 ounces of arterial fluid will need to go into our tank there. So Tristan, go ahead and pour 8 ounces of the fluid. Get your measuring cup there. Oh, I spilled a little bit. Don't tell your mom. All right, so now we have, with the mixture that Tristan just added, we have a solution strength of 2% in our total volume, 1 gallon of solution, thanks to our algebraic equation. Thank you for watching. I hope everyone was able to learn a thing or two about algebra and solving algebraic equations. I look forward to seeing you again.